decided to make some biscuits and gravy today. So I'm going to first make the baking powder biscuits that are just going to be flour, salt, a little bit of sugar, a lot of baking powder, butter, and milk. And then I'm going to be making a sausage gravy to go on afterwards. We want to keep our pieces of butter starting off small. So we're going to cut it in half, cut it in half again, and then just make small pieces and keep these chilled until you're ready to use them. So we have our flour. We're going to add our salt and sugar as well as our baking powder. And you can just use your hand to mix this together. If you want to use a whisk, you totally can, but we're going to have to get dirty anyway. So once we have this together, we're going to take just about 2 tablespoons of our butter. I'm going to be adding a little bit more because I'm making a double batch, so I'm going to be closer to our 1/4 cup. But we're going to take some of this butter and we're going to incorporate it into our flour mixture with our hands, basically until you can't really see it anymore. So you can use this as your stress ball. Next, we're going to add the rest of the butter. Remember, this is a double batch. Coat it all up. And then we're going to break this down, but this time we're only going to break it down until they are about the size of a half pea. Maybe a little bit bigger, but somewhere around there. We don't want giant pieces like this. Instead, we want to have smaller pieces that they have been incorporated in. That way the fat is distributed, and as it bakes, you're going to have those layers of flaky goodness. Once we have that incorporated in, we're going to add our milk. And we're going to gently stir this just until it comes together. And it's not going to look like it's coming into a dough shape, but that's where the next step comes in. So we're going to lightly flour our surface, having some extra off to the side, and we're going to plop this puppy down. And again, it's going to look really doughy. But this is going to be where the magic of gluten comes in. So we'll sprinkle a little more flour on top. We're going to pat this down. If it starts sticking to you, add a little bit more flour. And you're going to fold it into a rectangle. That's about a 1/2 inch. Add flour as you need to. You're going to be folding it like a letter. So you're going to take one side, you're going to fold it in, and then you're going to take the other side and fold that on top. And then we're going to rotate the whole thing. So you might want to have some extra flour here or underneath. And then we're going to do that process again, where we pat it down to about a 1/2 inch, adding flour as we need to as it's sticking. And then again, fold it in thirds. Thirds. We're going to do that one more time. Still put it into somewhat of a rectangle. Doesn't matter as much anymore. But have it about 1 inch thick. From here, you're going to use a 2 to 3 inch biscuit cutter. Put it down and press straight down. You should be able to hear this whooshing noise. And then you can take this and put it on a baking pan. I put parchment paper and sprayed it lightly with Pam. You can tap your biscuit cutter into some flour, and that will also help. But it goes straight down. Lift it up. Pop it onto your pan. They're going to be rising up more than they are out, so you can keep them about 1 inch or 2 apart. Once you get these out, you can just take the dough, and we don't want to do the whole process again of folding it. We're just going to bring it back together so that it becomes one mound of dough again. And again, that same height. You want to keep all of your biscuits that same height. do it again. And you lean a bit. Even if you don't see it now, when we bake it, it's going to have this leaning tower look to it. We're going to start off by cooking ground sausage. Once our sausage is cooked, we're going to remove it from the pan. We'll save any of that fat that we might have. For a roux, you want to have equal amounts of fat to flour. So if you don't have enough fat from your sausage, you can always substitute it with some butter. Butter is always good. You do not need to clean your pan at this point. We want to have the flavor from the sausage that's still in there. So even though we don't have very much fat from the sausage, we're going to accommodate that with some butter. We'll cook this on a medium heat, get that melted down. That's going to pull up any of those little scraps of sausage that's in there. Now we're going to add our flour. So we have 2 tablespoons of fat, so we're going to add 2 tablespoons of flour. We can also season this mixture with some fresh herbs, or I'm choosing to add a little bit of dried sage, dried thyme. And if you want, you can even add a little bit of chicken bouillon for some extra flavor. Whisk that in, and then we will slowly add in the milk. You don't want to add it all at once, otherwise you can have flour balls. So minus the herbs and chicken bouillon, this is really a bechamel sauce, which is basically just made from a roux of flour and fat, milk added into it. So you'll see that there aren't chunks. We don't want chunks. So don't go crazy. Don't crank this up on heat. We want to have this thicken naturally, not going above medium. Going above medium is more likely to scorch it. Keep stirring on a regular basis. Once the sauce starts to thicken, you can add the sausage back into it, and the sauce should be thick enough to coat the back of a spoon. So after about 13 to 15 minutes in the oven, they should be really nice, like golden brown. They should have a good height to them. You'll see that if you had any of yours at an angle, it's going to be really pronounced when you bake it. So that's why we want to shoot straight down when we are cutting our biscuits, so we have more of this look than you should be able to just break your biscuits directly in half, pop them on your plate, and now we can add our sausage gravy. If you had to describe biscuits and gravy in one word, what would it be?
Good. 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 Good.